Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The day after we talked, my wife brought home a box of C's candy, so from work.
Wow. That was only Tuesday. I mean, this movie that we're talking about now was... I'm not going to say we shouldn't have done something for this anyways, but we should have. One of us should have. Neither one of us were doing anything for this movie. I really wasn't even going to watch it, to be honest with you.
I was planning on watching it first thing out of curiosity. I wasn't going to do anything on it because I don't really do recent releases for the show. That's not my bag, but...
You're not going to turn down an opportunity to talk horror movies.
And this is such an interesting thing. It's become such an interesting thing with these timelines and that, why not? And watching Halloween 18 the other day, that gave me lots to think about. Pretty sure that was the first time since the first time for me.
Yeah, for me it was as well. So on this episode of the Kulturecast X Wake Up Heavy or Wake Up Heavy X Kulturecast, however you want to look at it, we're going to be talking about... I don't think we're going to talk too much about the original Halloween.
No, there's really no point.
Right. Why would we talk about a movie that's good? But we will be talking a little bit about 2018's Halloween, the first David Gordon Green film. And then we'll be talking, unfortunately, more than likely, a lot about Halloween Kills, the film that just came out as of today on Peacock Plus and in theaters.
Hey, what are you guys doing out here?
It's Halloween. We've been trick-or-treating.
Are you alone?
There's a creepy man in a white mask.
Where?
And he keeps, trying to play hide and seek with us.
Where did you see him? Look! Run! Go home now!
Unlock the door! No! Come on!
We killed Michael. My grandmother set the fire.
No one told you.
Told me what?
Michael Myers is alive.
A man couldn't have survived that fire. "40 years ago, the boogeyman came for us. We are the survivors of Michael Myers.
Laurie, what do?
We fight
Mom.
Our family will kill him.
We're gonna hunt him down and we're gonna put an end to this.
He is not gonna stop killing until we stop him.
If you track Michael's victims, that's a straight line to Michael's childhood home.
Someone's in our house.
He's coming for me, but I'm coming for him.
You wanna kill someone? Take me! Michael!
I want to take his mask off and see the life leave his eyes.
And spoiler alert, because I plan on spoiling it, not out of spite.
I'm going to spoil it for you fucks.
So watch it. It's available. It's in theaters if you're doing that. And like Chris said, it's on Peacock.
I am not going to say watch it, so no. If we're giving our thoughts before the spoilers right now, do not watch it. It is not good. It is so bad that my feelings haven't tempered in the last 12 hours since I watched it.
The word that kept coming to my mind was it's ugly. That to me is a huge sin when it comes to the original film.
It's an ugly movie, but I think the worst sin is it's also a mean movie. And it's like mean to no end.
Well, that's what I mean by ugly.
Okay.
I don't mean the look of it. I mean
it is not a nice look.
It's
film,
ugly in spirit.
Yes.
That is disappointing to me because you can't say that about the original, which is what we're going on here. We're dismissing all the other sequels, all the other timelines.
Which they've already done one other time with this franchise.
Hearkening back to the original. I don't like to be negative. That's why I don't do a lot of recent horror on my show, because I feel more negative towards a lot of that.
Except if we were talking about Malignant.
You know, I had issues with... let me just start. I love the original Halloween. It's one of my favorites. I watch it multiple times a year, generally watch it every Halloween at some point, or every October at some point. Watched it the other day with my daughter. It was her first time. I was curious to see how it worked for her. It did. I kind of take on this different viewing persona when I'm watching a movie with her. I'm like gauging her response and seeing how things are landing. And, you know, since I know the movie, I can anticipate certain things. And I don't think she was blown away, but she said it was creepy. And I was like, that's how I always felt about it. I mean, it used to creep me out when I was younger. I still kind of can feel that creepiness, especially the daytime stuff with Michael Myers, to me is the creepiest part of the original. It's realistic. You can imagine this happening, and it gets less realistic, obviously, as the movie goes on, and the end, of course. I love it. I really like Halloween 2. I grew up with both of those movies, probably watched them first on TV as a preteen or teenager. And I love Halloween 3, did a whole episode on my first season of that.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wonderside's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wonderside.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wonderside.com. Wonderside. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wonderside today.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
I wasn't beholden to Michael Myers because I didn't see the first two in the theater. I didn't have this big love for Michael Myers. That's not my thing. Anyway, as we discussed on Hellraiser, Halloween 3 I liked because it was weird. And there were robots and boobies and all kinds of other strange stuff going on that I really dug.
Child murder.
I rented that one the most of the first 3 Halloweens. I paid no attention to when they started up again with Michael Myers. Never saw any of those in the theater. Never really rented any of them. I saw H2O in the theater because of my appreciation of Halloween. They got Laurie Strode back. Enjoyed it enough. I don't even know when I realized that they had made another one after that, Halloween Resurrection. And I didn't watch most of those until I did that episode on Halloween 3 and decided, well, I'll watch the whole series so I can have a ranking like people do. And I mean, they're not very good. So I was interested in the reboot of 2018 and watched it, I think, when it hit streaming. I didn't go see it in the theater or anything, so I wasn't that interested, obviously, and heard all the mixed reviews by the time I finally watched it and was kind of like, when I finally did. I just think that I don't want to say that people missed the point. It seems like these filmmakers missed the point of Michael Myers, and we kind of talked about this the other day, or at least what I feel the point is. And they actually get to that point in this film, but they kind of ignore it. I don't understand what this one was all about.
I'm not sure it knows what it's driving at, to be fair.
I'll watch the next one, again, out of morbid curiosity to see how they wrap this all up. I didn't have much hope for this, but it was still a disappointment. So that's my long intro.
I appreciate Halloween's place in the canon of horror and how important it is. But similarly to yourself, if I'm thinking about horror movies, Halloween is a movie that I watch once or twice a year, but it's not my favorite of anything. It's not even my favorite Halloween movie. That would be Halloween 3. Because Halloween 3 is, like you said, fucking weird and strange. And it makes choices, real choices, like killing children. And movies don't do that. And having the bad guy win in the end.
Well, the Halloween movies do that now.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues I have, and we can talk about that.
Halloween is just okay for me. Like, again, it's one of those things where it's not my thing. Like yourself, when I heard that they were making a 2018, when it was being written by David Gordon Green, who's worked on some interesting stuff, and Danny McBride, who, if you know his other work, this sounds like a passion project for him, because he is not a horror actor. I'm not even sure had ever worked in the medium, in the genre of horror, before Halloween, co-writing the script. I watched it. I did go see it in theaters. That was around the time when we were doing new movies every week, and we'd go see a new movie every week, and God, that seems like a drag now. But I remember thinking, this is kind of like The Force Awakens. It's inoffensive, but ultimately, it's like eating a bag of candy. It's not going to fill you up, but it has its satisfying moments. 2018 is a popcorn movie. And then this movie is a complete nightmare. I don't understand some of the choices. I don't understand writing characters one way up into the last frame of the movie and then completely 180ing because, lol, we have another movie we have to release. I don't care what anyone says about this movie. There's in no way, shape, or form a logical human being can defend the choices that are made at the end of this movie in good conscience or in good faith, because it makes no fucking sense. Like you said, this movie is mean-spirited, and you know what it does, of all things? It makes me appreciate those Rob Zombie movies a lot more. At least those movies are brutal, but the brutality makes sense because in that world it's been established it's a brutal world. In this world that this movie takes place in, which is ostensibly, again, the original movies, where Michael isn't snapping people's necks and ripping their fucking faces out and popping their eyeballs out like in Total Recall. Like you said, they missed the point. Michael toys with his food. He's not brutal. Those kills in the original Halloween are fucking pedestrian. And that's being kind. They're boring. They're nothing. He pins a guy to a wall with a knife. But you don't remember that part. You remember all the bits of him toying with the character.
And that's the thing that I think is missed. And what I brought up the other day, he is that 6-year-old kid still. He's supposed to be. That's the idea behind him going back home in the first movie. What does he do? He wants to go home back to that night. This is basically the last thing that happened to him before he was locked up. He was in his house in a Halloween costume. So what does he do when he gets back to Haddonfield? He creates a Halloween costume, goes back to his house, and then sees Laurie Strode when she goes to leave the key. And then the rest of the movie is him following this person who happened to walk up to his house. And she, because she has these friends, they get looped into the whole thing too. He wants to recreate that night for whatever reason, for whatever his messed up, bizarre, psycho reasons are. That's what he wants to do. But he still has the mental capacity of a 6-year-old kid. And that's why you get the playing around with the victims. That's why you get him in a sheet. That's what I don't understand. They totally dismiss that in Halloween 18 and this one.
More so in this one, though.
In Halloween Kills, there is a character that says basically what I just put out there. He's a 6-year-old kid in the body of an adult. Then he adds with the mind of an animal or something like that. So they add that little bit like, oh, he's an animal. And it's like, no, he's still a 6-year-old kid. And this is what he thinks is fun. When I was watching 18 the other day, I'm like, that's where they're getting this wrong. They're going back to the original, but they're dismissing that basic premise of Michael Myers is a 6-year-old kid still. He will never progress past that point of who he was the night he killed his sister. His getting older, his getting stronger doesn't affect that aspect of him, but that's how they treat it. And so they kind of take the...
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
The thing that he became in the sequels, the 4 through 6 or whatever, and they're using that as a template, though, still.
Well, and then they have, like, pseudo-supernatural shit that they hint at, where it's like, the more people he kills, the stronger he gets. And it's like, so you're saying you're not committing to supernatural, because everybody already hated that with the Mark of Thorn shit. But you're giving us an in-world explanation for your pseudo-supernatural shit that you're not going to explain. Okay.
And there's still always going to be that supernatural aspect because obviously he can't be killed.
He is shot point blank with guns in this movie.
It wasn't the very first.
Yeah.
And it almost makes me, well, it does actually make me think, yeah, they should have just stopped with the first one like John Carpenter intended. That, oh, he got up. How did that happen? That's great for the end of a horror movie. This continuity, this Strode timeline, I think a lot of people are calling it, it's too grounded in reality to have this still be the thing.
You can't have it both ways. They want it to be both ways. They literally want to say, it's not supernatural, but we can't explain this guy getting fucking point blanked 7 times any other way. They can't say he was wearing a bulletproof vest, which would literally be the easiest explanation. Is just say that he went and got a bulletproof vest. And you show him taking it off. And it's like, okay, I get it. He's not a complete moron. Again, like you said, a mind of a 6-year-old. He has some foresight, some planning. Which then I would... If that was the reveal at the end of the movie, everything else would kind of make a little bit more sense. But yet, no. It's just pseudo-supernatural because we know that nobody liked when they hard committed, so we'll just hint at it. Such a fucking weak choice.
That line, though, in this one in Kills about the fear, that didn't bother me so much. I was like, okay, this is how we're going to explain it. That's fine. I guess it's John Carpenter's fault for having him get up in that last one, because what do you do with that? You know, there wasn't supposed to be any more. He definitely wasn't supposed to come back. Now we're trapped and everybody has to write their way out of this. So it's sort of a mess that he created, but what are you going to do? When I was watching 18 the other day, I kind of picked up on this the first time I watched it, but it had been so long and I forgot just how much of a beat for beat remake it was of the original. And so I did my search for Easter eggs in Halloween 2018. There's like 30, 35 different things that they hit on, not just from the first movie. They hit on all the sequels, the Rob Zombie films, Halloween 3, and it's all basically fan service. And I don't have anything necessarily against fan service in general, but I'm thinking, okay, we're supposed to forget about all this stuff. You're throwing stuff at me from Halloween 2 through Halloween Resurrection. You're throwing in the Rob Zombie films. To what end?
Be the end-all, be-all Halloween movie.
We have this basic outline of a story. Michael escapes. His doctor wants him to confront Laurie. She's a mess and she lives in this compound. Everything else about that movie is referencing the other films. It was like that was the script writing tool. So we get, the 3 teenagers walking down the street. We get a graveyard scene. We get closets. We get a body in a closet. I kind of stopped counting after 25 of them or so. That's just not enough for me to make a movie around.
They didn't even reference the best thing from the first movie. Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. The best line in the entire series. Every time Donald Pleasance says that horribly 80-yard line, I cannot help but laugh. Oh, no, in this movie, they just trot out a literal Dr. Loomis lookalike with terrible ADR. Well, yeah, and Lonnie's back, and also terrible voiceover, fake Dr. Loomis impersonation. Don't focus on it. Don't put the camera on his face. Here's the other thing. You're in for a rough time when this movie, that's a sequel to last film, opens with a fucking 10-minute flashback. God, way to kill the pace of your movie immediately.
That was a part that I was curious about. Unfortunately, again, I think it was mishandled, giving Hawkins, we got to give everybody trauma. We got to give everybody this horrible backstory to deal with. That was one of the questions I had when I was watching 2018, because they say, oh, he was the first on the scene. And I'm like, is this a reference to Halloween 2? Because there was no scene in Halloween. The movie ends with Michael getting up and leaving. And I'm thinking, is that the name of the character of Brackett's partner in Halloween 2? And I looked and I'm like, no, it's not. I was curious then when that started happening, when that flashback started happening. Oh, what are they going to do with this? Having it kind of end with him killing his partner was the first indication to me that, oh, this is going to be mean. This is going to be mean and ugly.
Boy, wasn't it.
That was unnecessary, but we've got to give him trauma. We've got to give him something to have been hanging over his head for 40 years as well.
Because, having to fight Michael Myers and see all those people murdered wasn't enough.
I like how they point these things out, these faults, and then go forward with them. Like in 2018, Cameron says, what's the big deal? This guy killed 6 people? I mean, that's like a blip on the radar these days. Yeah, it's horrible if you want to try and think about it in real world terms. A guy goes on a killing spree one night. Would it have traumatized a town for 40 years like this? I don't think so.
And again, those kills in that first movie are so pedestrian. How could they? It is not like this movie where he's killing literal children, murdering almost everybody he comes in contact with. No, he's just stabs a couple babysitters. I mean, they hang a lantern on it in 2018. One of the characters says essentially the same thing. He's like, well, in this day and age, that wouldn't even be a blip on the radar.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's no shit.
That's the other thing. That's that point, again, that I think they miss. He doesn't do that in the original. He runs into Lonnie at the school. He kind of follows Tommy a little bit. He doesn't fuck with the kids because he is one still. In 2018, yeah, he does. And for no good reason.
Well, I mean, how else are you ugly and mean if you don't have children being murdered? Now, mind you, they're murdered off screen.
Well, the kid in the truck wasn't murdered off screen. He gets his neck snapped in the truck.
Are you talking about in the first movie?
I'm talking about in 2018. He kills the kid in the truck.
Yeah. He also kills a kid in this movie, too.
Oh, yeah, he kills kids in this movie. I expected that because we've already gone there. Jumping back and forth, this made me think of that whole scenario in 2018 where we get this major throwback to Halloween 2 with him picking up the hammer, walking through that person's house. I mean, it's a direct, almost shot for shot of him getting the knife when the lady's making the ham sandwich. But now we have to see everything, and we've got to hammer some gal's brain in and then go pick up the knife and then go walk through another house and kill that woman. It's just like you said, kill whoever he comes into contact with. And that wasn't the point. And that's, I think, what bothers me. Why can't it just be he roams around and then focuses on somebody, and anybody that's associated with that person is going to be in trouble? No, it just has to be anybody. Anybody he comes in contact with is going to get murdered. Kid, babysitter's boyfriend. I don't get the point of that.
It's for the kills.
It has to be because there's no tension. There's no mystery as to why. It's just he's a killing machine. Okay, that's the most boring reason.
I think here's the thing that nobody's talking about, or maybe they're talking about it too much that it doesn't matter. That's what the horror bros want. The audience wants this movie and will like this movie because it's got brutal kills. And it brings the brutality back to Michael. And this movie is appealing to a lot of people. It's just not me and you. Now, it's not me and you for reasons that you've clearly stated and I 100% agree with, which is it tonally doesn't fit with the movie that they're trying to pay such hard lip service to. But at the same time, this movie is trying to be its own thing, and by being brutal, it's not just ripping off the original movie entirely. The question I have that I was sitting here thinking about while you were saying all that is, would a movie like that make as much money as this movie did, the first one? No, people wouldn't be into it. That's the problem. The problem, I think, is, to your point, the audiences want something different, and that movie, the original Halloween, being so successful now, if people today watched it, they'd be bored. So they had to make it entertaining for audiences of today. The horror audiences of today. And they know what they want. It's gory, stylish kills.
Which you can still have.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think this is just taking something that is nuanced and well thought out and just taking the nuance out of it. Look, at the end of the day, Halloween is just a movie about a guy walking around town killing people. That's what these two movies are about. The thing that makes Halloween good is the nuance of the way he messes with people, the choices. These movies, he walks around town killing people, and all it's about is essentially each house. You know what I was thinking? Each house is like a level of a video game, and you're introduced to these characters. Michael is the hero of this movie. This is Avengers Infinity War. It really is. Like, watching the movie, all I could think was, there's another movie coming out, which means this movie is going to have to be some sort of blue balls ending, well, which it is. And on top of everything else, it's probably going to focus more on the villain. That seems to be the thing now that everybody does, is give the villain more time, But I would contend Michael's never been the villain of these movies anyways. People watch the movies to watch him do the thing that he does. And they could give two shits about the characters that he's murdering. Which, is in and of itself, is its own problem. So
Yeah, that is the problem, really.
But if you don't care about that aspect of it, and you're able to offset that by making a movie with stylish kills that the audience loves, they're going to overlook it. And you know how I know that? Because we've seen that they do.
There were some things that I liked about this as far as story goes, and I was happy that they finally had to nix the idea of he's after Laurie. I mean, you get that in 2018 because the doctor sets all that up there. Otherwise, he would have never known where she lived.
Well, I would have gone to the jail and quiet nothing.
Because I kind of forgot about that between my viewings of the 2018 version. Like, wait a minute, he's still after Laurie. Doesn't that go against the whole sister thing that they created in Halloween 2? And I was like, oh, yeah. No, the doctor engineered all this because he's crazy too. She didn't know that. Laurie never knew that until this. And it's like, finally people are there to tell her he's not after you. This is just him doing his thing. So I did appreciate that. And I did appreciate them leaning into he's trying to get home. That makes sense to me. I do like that. I think that's pretty smart and goes with the character. Everything else just doesn't to me. It doesn't fit, at least in my mind, what he is and what he does or why he does what he does. So we get some returning characters from the original. We get little Lindsay Wallace. Lindsay! I always love that part of the first one. We get Tommy Doyle.
Anthony Michael Hall, recast as Tommy Doyle.
Yes, we get Lonnie, who apparently was also obviously recast. And I like that guy. He's in Mike Flanagan's stuff. And we get Nurse Marion, who I think was dispatched in one of the other sequels in the whatever timeline that is. She was like killed in
H2O, I think.
And they're all buddies because they survived Michael Myers.
Sheriff Brackett is back too.
Sheriff Brackett is back. And I actually got a little choked up when they showed him in the hospital. And I was like, Charles Cyphers is back. He hadn't done anything with John Carpenter since Skip from New York, I think. Yeah, it was nice to see all these people back. And then that just gets absolutely shit on at the end of the movie.
Yes. They do a good job of setting it up. And then at the end of the movie, Tommy Doyle goes beyond the pale of stupidity. He lets Michael kill him.
I have issues with that ending.
I would hope so. They have Michael Myers on the ground dead, and they don't kill him. That is literally what happens. That is the literal scenario that you are forced to watch, is the moment that you never get to see in any other horror movie. You've never seen it with Freddy. You've never seen it with fucking Jason. You've never seen it with Leatherface, where an entire town gets their comeuppance on the baddie. You never get to see it. And this is the first time any movie like this kind of goes for it. And boy, they fucking snapped both of their legs off in the landing. They're in the air, they're going for it, and then you're like, oh wait, there's a third movie, so this can't be this. They've had 2 opportunities now to end this shit. They could have ended the last movie with Michael burning in a fire, and that would have been symbolic, somewhat iconic. Everybody would have been on board with it. You could have had him die here, dying at the hands of people other than Laurie. And they don't do that either. They have the characters literally lose their minds for 30 seconds long enough for Michael to stand up and kill them.
To kill everybody. And there was like 30 or 40 people. On top of the firefighters at the beginning of the movie, hacked to pieces.
Everybody shits their pants when they see him. I mean, you have a character trying to shoot him with a 50 caliber handgun, a Desert Eagle. And even if that's not the 50 caliber version, which I think it's meant to be, it's still a large caliber round. That character, instead of shooting Michael, shoots the car and then kills herself by accident. Which is a great kill. It's funny, but it's infuriating because it's like these characters are complete and utter morons. I can't believe that these characters exist outside of this movie. Does that make sense? They lack the internal logic of a normal human being.
I was expecting him to get carted off again, to be honest with you, and to engineer another escape in the next one. And I would have been fine with that.
He hasn't done it in this series yet. He technically hasn't done it in this timeline, so...
There's cops there along with the mob. Cuff him up. Something's going to happen in the next transport. Fine. Well, we've seen transport mishaps a number of times in the different timelines. That's okay. We don't have any issue redoing scenes from movies whole cloth. That shouldn't be a problem. And then I was surprised. I knew going in that he would survive, obviously, and we'd have another movie. I didn't think that all these people that we bring back are going to get taken out unceremoniously. Brackett, especially, I felt was super mean-spirited. Tommy Doyle, I get it. He messed up this whole time, but that really bothered me.
This movie is beyond mean-spirited. It's so mean-spirited.
Lindsay, though, was still at the hospital, I believe. So
Richard survives.
We do still have a survivor from that group.
It's essentially Will Patton, Jamie Lee Curtis, Andi Matichak, the daughter. That's it. And Kyle Richards. I guess Judy Greer died.
That really bothered me too, because I'm like, wait a minute. Weren't there still people at the house, or had some time elapse? Did I miss like a fade out time elapse thing?
What I don't know is, did he kill her?
She'll probably be okay.
It's a fake out, right?
When we want somebody to survive, the killer who can dispatch 30 people with the flick of a wrist only stabs them in the side.
My leg is broken. I almost thought that her boyfriend was going to survive until, oh my God.
Yeah, and that was ugly too.
Like, the kills in this movie, they don't appeal to me, but you and I both know they appeal to somebody. That's why I cannot completely discount the movie, because I know, as do you, that somebody is super into how brutal this movie is. They're like, fuck yeah. Look how
I've already seen
that guy into the thing over and over. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm not on Twitter, which is why I haven't seen it. But, like, I'm sure there are people just, like, jizzing themselves. Which, you know what? Look, again, by all means, if you're into it, great. And that's just not for me. I'm into a different kind of brutal horror. It's not, like, there's brutal enough shit in real life. I don't need to see that.
That's where I have an issue with pretty much every sequel, whatever timeline. I just don't think they've kept the spirit of that original incarnation of Michael Myers. I don't think they understand what Carpenter was going for. People may get angry at that, but it wasn't mindless killing machine that's brutal. And
unless you make him that from the start, like Rob Zombie did. Looking at the Rob Zombie Halloween movies now, I'll feel a little bit like the way I felt about the prequels after watching the sequels of Star Wars. Sure, the prequels are bad. Nobody's going to argue that. But at least they're one guy's singular idea, not somebody's chopped up, fucking Cobb salad. With this movie, that's what it feels like. Like, at least the Rob Zombie 1 and 2, it's one guy. He's doing what he wants. He did what he wanted so much that he pissed John Carpenter off. But the thing is, in that universe that he establishes, at least that's the universe. All the rules make sense in the scope of that universe because it's its own thing. This is trying to do two things. It's trying to be its own thing while still existing in the framework of something, a box much smaller than this movie ever could hope to be put inside of. There's flashbacks, there's fucking Donald Pleasance impersonators, there's random comedic actors for no reason. There's all sorts of weird shit in this movie that feels excessive. Big John and Little John.
I liked those guys.
Also talking about Lenny Clark from Rescue Me.
So I was fast forwarding through the credits and I stopped and rewound because I thought, mid-credit scene had popped up. So I rewound, caught the tail end of the credits. It said that Bob Odenkirk played Bob in this.
He's in a photograph, apparently.
Oh, okay. Because I remember seeing PJ Souls as Linda, a picture of her, and I missed the Bob thing.
The producers were not able to secure the likeness of the original actor and instead used a real high school yearbook photo of Odenkirk.
Oh, okay. Yes, it was on the news report, huh?
I think so.
Okay, because I'm like, who's that guy supposed to be? That's pretty funny. Okay, I cleared that up for me. I was like, what the fuck, Bob Odenkirk? He wasn't in the original, was he?
This movie could have benefited from having him in it. He probably would have just been murdered like the rest of the fucking characters. Let's talk about the kills. I know we're not going to do ourselves any service by not talking about them, so we might as well at least talk about them a little bit. If you're into brutal horror kills, this is going to be something that's right up your alley. And there are going to be people that listen to this that are into that. And that's why I'm saying I cannot tell people not to watch this movie. I appreciate it's not for me, but there are a lot of people that watch, what's that, The Kill List? Was that on YouTube? I think this was called. It's like a guy who just does the kills from all the movies. That makes me think about stuff like this. Like, you're just here for that. And that's okay. But, like, it's kind of garbage to tailor the whole movie to that.
I would never tell someone to not watch a movie, for one thing. That's just not my thing. I understand as well that a lot of people are going to like it. They may like it because of or in spite of that. To be honest with you, I liked the movie when Michael Myers wasn't on screen, and that's kind of strange to say. I liked the downtime. I liked the hospital scenes with Laurie Strode and Chief Hawkins. I thought that Cameron was going to get redeemed in this, and he sort of does, but then comes to a horrible end. I liked seeing Sheriff Brackett, like I mentioned. The kills, I don't know. I mean, I felt the same way watching 2018 again. I don't need to see somebody's head get stomped in graphically. I get it.
It's meant to look real. It's not cartoony.
But this one went even further on the kills. That husband and wife, the gal with the little drone.
Right.
I don't understand what that was for, except to show Michael brutally killing people and killing the husband, stabbing him with multiple knives repeatedly while his wife watched and died on the ground.
That's some Zodiac shit. It was evoking stuff that was like in real life so horrifying I don't like to think about it. It's like, it's horrible. Like, God damn it, movie. That's awful. I don't even know these characters for more than 3 minutes, and that's awful. Like, Jesus Christ.
And to what end is my question. Did he get something from, he could have gotten a knife from anywhere. Did he need a knife? Does he need a knife? He was going home. That to me was ugly.
David Gordon Green cast all of his friends in this movie just so he could kill them off on screen.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. There's such a disparate group of people that what connection do they have other than maybe to David Gordon Green, given that he worked in the comedy world for so long? I mean, I don't know if that's like a stretch, but it's a lot of comedic actors getting killed in this movie.
No, I recognize a lot of faces, and that makes sense. I haven't seen a ton of his movies, but it makes sense to me.
It's such a weird, specific choice, like Michael McDonald or Lenny Clark. You could cast any Joe Schmo character actor.
They're pretty gory and graphic, and the camera lingers on them. So if that is
Very
your bag,
prolonged.
You're going to be pleasantly surprised, I guess, or not surprised. But that reminds me of another ugly thing, this little side story about the other escaped mental patient and that whole mob scene in the hospital and his demise. And that, for me, was kind of the final straw. This is really ugly. This is awful what they're doing to this guy in the movie and in the writing of the movie.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be kind of an indictment on us as humans or us as viewers.
Accidental Trump, maybe?
But it's so ugly to me that this poor guy meets his end this way.
That whole thing was just like weirdly topical and like prescient. This movie was filmed in 2019, so it's all accidental. There's a line in this movie that I cannot believe. Jamie Lee Curtis is yelling at people in a hallway, and she says something to the effect of, "That's not him, you fucking sheep." And I was just like, what? Oh, God damn. It's a little much. And I know that line's not ADR, unless that it was a reshoot, because like it's her saying it clear as day. Yeah, that whole thing with the wrong Michael and like this is the dark side of man, and at the heart of every man is Michael Myers is essentially that's the conceit, right? Michael Myers turns us all bad. He's a cancer, which is like a creative and novel idea, but they're not the first ones to do that.
We're fueling him okay, I get it. I kind of like that concept.
Right.
Maybe not to explain the supernatural stuff, but just in general. Okay, so this is why he is so brutal now, or why he has to kill anybody he comes across. It's because of us. All right. I mean, I can kind of buy into that, but I guess I just wish it was more subtle, and it is so much more like a crossbreed if you married the original and Rob Zombie's films.
Yeah.
It really connects those two disparate worlds. And I hope that we get something that's a little more subtle and harkens back to the first one in spirit, not necessarily in Easter eggs.
Has the third movie not already been shot?
Oh, I don't know.
I just assumed it was back to back. You know, last night, I was telling you this before we started, I watched it with friend of the podcast, Trevor. Him and I watched it together, and him and I had a good time watching it. Like, we had a good time watching it because we were, you know, talking over the movie, riffing on it, because it's not a good movie. I think it's kind of this weird mix of, like, and you see this in a lot of the reviews, like, self-referential shit with super serious stuff, because you do have some funny bits in this movie that don't jive with, like, anything else. It's weird. There's a line that Lenny Clark says, and it's really funny, when Michael is in their house. He's like, holy shit, there's this big motherfucker in our house. And, like, that's hilarious because he's the one delivering the line. It's kind of funny to hear just, like, everyday people reacting to Michael Myers. But then you juxtapose it with this kid getting his head smashed in and then, like, essentially paralyzed from the neck down until Michael snaps his head. And it's like, holy shit, movie, come on. Either be funny and have a sense of humor or do that. But they don't work. They do work, they just don't work here. Like, Evil Dead's not a brutal movie. It's over the top. I mean, yeah, Bruce Campbell cuts his hand off. Yeah, he kills his girlfriend and all that. But it's done with a sense of tongue-in-cheek. In this, it's played straight. Like, the kid's, like, sitting there, like, whimpering and shit. When that character, the character you were talking about at the hospital, kills himself, he's still, like, alive and moving on the ground. And his, like, brains popped out of his head. Like, it's like, movie, come on, pick a tone. And it's tonal, it's a tonal mess. It's really just, I think that's, to the core of it, it's a tonal mess.
That was the bloody cherry on top of the, the ice cream and that mental patient. Okay, fine, he jumps out of the window. This is horrific enough, but we have to show his mangled body on the ground. And
wiggling and still moving.
To what end? To hammer home that we're awful? I
guess. This movie is, again, it's like a bunch of bros sitting on a couch watching a horror movie stoned out of their minds and like, whoa, we are the monsters. That's low-hanging fruit. They're not the first people to come up with that. Shit, a movie you and I'm sure both appreciate and love, shares some DNA with this movie, Zodiac. Careful, going after the monster turns you into the monster. I mean, they essentially talk about that in this movie. Like, you become so obsessed with the monster, you in turn become one yourself. Halloween doesn't need that. Like, we know that shit already. Come on. Don't act like you just discovered that, I think is the bigger issue. Don't act like you invented that. They turned Laurie Strode into Baby Yoda. Or not Baby Yoda. They turned Laurie Strode into... They turned her into, like, Yoda, essentially. She just sits and muses in a hospital. Safe all movie.
And I was actually okay with that because I didn't like her in 2018. I'm a little bit tired of that traumatized person who destroys their life because of their trauma. Does it happen? Yeah. Can't we find a different angle, though, to where, yes, she's traumatized and maybe, yes, she still has a compound, but does she have to destroy her life and her family's life in the process?
Cliched, my man. This is like the millionth time we've seen this shit. Come on.
I didn't like her in that, and I want to like Laurie. I like her much more in Halloween 2 when she's basically in bed the whole time. So.
Well, and we all know that Jamie Lee Curtis is a fantastic actress who can do a good job. They don't give her much to work with. They have her sit and spout some sort of like philosophical expository dialogue. Like, he is the darkness in all of us. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the fuck movie?
Yeah, but like I said, I'd rather have her doing that than being shouty and angry and drunk. And
I would rather have her interact with Michael and there only be 2 of these fucking movies as opposed to 3. Because this movie feels less like Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018 1.5. It's not even much of a movie. It's a bunch of kills strung together with a minimal plot. It's strange. It's strange.
That's the thing that I have seen pop up. It's like, what was the point? And if it's to get from point A to point B, does everything have to be a trilogy? Just have 2 of them. Get to the meat of it in the second one instead of it takes half of this movie to figure out what Michael's motivations are. That could be handled in 10 minutes of a second film, and then the rest of the movie is...
Give it to a character for exposition in this movie. That's the lazy thing that they did. So much expository dialogue in this movie, it hurts.
For something that, to me, should be unexplained. Why does Michael get up at the end? Is he really the boogeyman? Is that what he became or always was? Beyond the fact of him just being a 6-year-old kid for his whole life. Okay, sure.
You know what would have been good? Is leave it like the neighbor. Is it the neighbors? The strangers? Is that what it's called? Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it like that. There's no explanation in that movie.
Right.
None. And the explanation that they do give is because you were home. You happened to open the door. Laurie, like you said, just happened to drop off the key, and that's that. As they say, the rest is history.
That's my whole point.
Much more horrifying, by the way.
That's why I really don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween. I don't want all that about Michael Myers' childhood. I really don't. Beyond it being an ugly, ugly world filled with ugly, ugly people, that whole first part of that movie is completely uninteresting to me. Don't want it. Don't care. The opening of the original is much more intriguing. For me, works a lot better because you're like, oh shit, that's a little kid. That's all I need. I don't want the explanation. I want him just to be a kid who decided to do this one day, and holy shit, that's terrifying.
The Rob Zombie movies are in response to our species' love of true crime. I mean, you and I both know that the character that they are concocting in that Rob Zombie Halloween is essentially what would happen if Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy became a giant actual monster. I mean, they have him as a kid killing animals, exhibiting all the traits that the serial killers exhibit as kids. So that's what Rob Zombie's going for, and I appreciate it for that. I think to your point, it's not my bag. I will say that that's much more interesting as an idea. What happens if Ted Bundy as a kid had actually grown up into Michael Myers? Because that makes sense, I guess, in this world that they've concocted. I'd much rather watch that than this at this point. Because at least I expect the brutality and I already know it's going to be there. It tracks with everything else. At least it doesn't try to do something different throughout the movie. It's like, this is a shitty world with shitty people and shitty things happen all the time.
Yeah, I have no desire to ever watch those again.
I don't think I have the desire to watch this movie again.
I told my wife when I get home I'm going to watch it. It's like, oh, we should all watch it together. And I said, well, let me check it out. I mean, I need to check it out first because I'm supposed to record on it. But yeah, I don't.
You're going to let your kiddo watch this one?
No.
I wouldn't.
And I don't really have any interest in watching it as a family anyway.
This is a movie made for a specific group of fans, and they are going to love this. And you know what? More power to them.
Exactly. Love it all you want. That ain't for me.
And love the fact that it's a Halloween movie. It's a mainstream property getting that kind of attention. I like that, but I'll tell you what. Oh, are you going to say the same thing I was?
This is the thing that I like about these and the previous timelines and the Rob Zombie films. I hope that, and I know he does, I hope that John Carpenter got the biggest fucking fattest check for this shit. Yeah. And it can buy more video games and more musical equipment and more cigarettes to enjoy the end of his life, because that's all it is to him. And I appreciate that. And I'm happy for him.
Isn't that the greatest part about all of this? He is just like us.
That's the one thing I take from all of these movies. I know that he gets a big fucking fat check.
John Carpenter is a nerd like the rest of us. He loves making music and playing video games. It's amazing.
And I wish Deborah Hill was still here to also get a big fat check, but I hope her family does.
Oh,
I'm sure they do. So good for them as well.
And you know what? Also, like Jamie Lee Curtis, good for her.
Right.
Realistically, at the end of the day, good for Jamie Lee Curtis, because, like, yeah, sure, bringing Kyle Richards and Nancy Stevens back is fun. Glad they got a paycheck as well. But, like, Jamie Lee Curtis still making buku bucks now? Like, come on. 3 movies as the lead, as essentially a character actor? Come on. That's fucking great. I will say, though, the other thing that's making me a little bit more nervous now is I don't really have a lot of faith in that David Gordon Green Exorcist series that's coming out. The trilogy of Exorcist movies.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We'll see. I don't.
There's a lot more room to go with because the boundaries are much more narrowly defined. You would hope that they would just say, fuck the boundaries and do whatever the hell they want, which I hope is what they do. Don't do a sequel to The Exorcist, please. Don't try it. God. Have you seen that Exorcist TV show?
Yeah, I watched both seasons, I believe.
First season's pretty good.
I enjoyed it. I was like, ooh, this is some creepy shit.
That twist where, the twist, I won't ruin it. People should watch it. The big twist I thought was pretty well done. I didn't see it coming.
I didn't either.
Okay, cool.
I was very surprised. I was like, oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Which they abandoned in the second season, but it still had some nice creepy stuff in it.
Does the second season not have anything to do with the first season?
It's loose, very loose. It's basically the priests going out. It's kind of, have you ever watched the show Evil?
Is it kind of like, I know, but I've seen the X-Files. Kind of the same idea. Buddy series, them going, they're the characters now of the show.
Yes, basically, yeah.
I mean, they were the best, they were the second best part of that first season.
It was good.
Now with this David Gordon Green Halloween movie coming out, I'm a little trepidatious about it. I mean, I don't know. I think he loves the material. You don't get involved with this kind of stuff at this point in time where people make movies unless you love it. The other thing is, like, he's not had no association with horror, right? I mean, David Gordon Green wasn't a horror director before Halloween, which was everybody's kind of weird thing, was like, Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, Eastbound and Down, are making a horror movie? Like, okay.
Yeah, so much so that some places were reporting that it was a different Danny McBride, and there is another Danny McBride who is a writer. And so for a while there, I was like, oh no, it's this guy. And then I was like, wait a minute, but David Gordon Green has worked with the other Danny McBride, so why would it be?
Yeah.
It was a little strange.
Ultimately, that probably having him in that writer's room explains a lot of the movie's weird shit. Just think about the people that are in that writer's room. David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, and Scott Teems. And I think that's the same... Is that the same writing trio from the first movie, or was it just... No, it's a different guy for the first movie. I don't think at this point there's any way David Gordon Green doesn't direct the third movie, and it's not written by the three of them if it's not already done by now. Like I said, I'll watch it, because at this point I want to see how it ends.
Yeah, I want to see how it ends. I'll watch it as well, and I mean, I don't know that I'll watch this in preparation for that.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, I don't know. This wasn't for me. I can say that.
But we'll see you a year from now, folks, when we talk about Halloween Ends, because it comes out essentially a year from now, a year from yesterday.
I'll just keep my notes that I took today for that, because I don't really plan on rewatching this.
Maybe this will be one of those movies that when I rewatch it, it gets better with a second watch, but...
Well, that's what I thought was going to happen with Halloween 2018, and it didn't. It just kind of made me angrier.
When I did my rewatch, I was hoping for the same thing, and I fell short too, and I was worried that this movie was going to continue on the downward trend, and it did, so it's unfortunate. Hey, you know what? We only have, I think, there's only one more of these kinds of movies on the horizon for a while. Scream 2022.
Yeah, and I don't have as big a connection with Scream.
That's the difference between me and you. Scream is like, Wes Craven's stuff is my... Nightmare and Scream were the first 2 horror movies I ever saw. I love Ghostface. I absolutely love the design. I know it's, whatever. But The Scream movies.
I hate Ghostface.
I know. Scream is a franchise that I really love. I think we're going to book ourselves into a shoot on that one. We're going to have to talk about that movie.
We'll see. I'm not watching all 4 of the previous ones.
Wait. Why would you have to? They're just going to ignore them anyways.
I enjoy the first one to a pretty high degree, but after that, count me out.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't like any of the sequels.
Holy shit. Man.
Silly business.
That's a hard line. I mean, I get it. That's silly business. Oh, yeah, this is a big skip it from me. I'm sorry.
People are going to watch it regardless of what I say, so you knock yourself out.
You have Peacock. It's free. Why wouldn't you watch it?
Yeah.
It's free entertainment. You're paying for it.
I'm happy that we get that through Xfinity and I was able to watch it. There's no commercials, so be happy about that. Even if you have Peacock Plus, there's commercials in all movies, so it was nice that they didn't do that here. And you're not going to change your mind because of me. I hope you get more out of it than I did.
And Michael Myers' mask doesn't look half bad. For a redesign, it's kind of cool. At least it's not an ugly to look at movie, I guess. But yeah, not for me, I think.
Ultimately not for me either.
It'll be for a lot of people, so.
Yep, and that's what makes the world go round.
So on that note, Mark, where can people find you and the Wake Up Heavy podcast?
They can find me at wakeupheavy.com. I am at Wake Up Heavy on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. The show should be on most major podcast platforms. And you, sir?
cstachiw.com. That's it. That's my link tree for all the stuff I work on, which is a lot of things like Rankin and Bass stuff and other things of that nature. Kulturecast.com, I guess, and wakeupheavy.com. That's where our respective things are.
There you go.
We'll be back together for something in the future.
Yeah, Twitch of the Death Nerve, baby.